So what did I learn losing 160 pounds? So today I want to share with you my experience around weight loss and how it really taught me the idea of privilege in the world. As many of you know, I have been in recovery from binge eating disorder for 14 years. And at my worst of my eating disorder, I was morbidly obese and I was over 340 pounds. Over the course of my recovery, I've lost 160 pounds and I've maintained that for about 13 years. When I was at my heaviest, especially like in middle and high school, I was treated terribly. I was poked, I was prodded. My personal space didn't matter. Even if I told someone, please don't touch me, I didn't have the privilege of that being honored. I remember I didn't have the privilege of being able to go into stores and finding clothes that fit me. I didn't have the privilege of being able to sit comfortably in a seat, let alone an airplane seat. And I remember people looking at me differently as I would walk down the street, or if I was in a store, or if I was ordering food. On one level, I put myself in that situation because I was binge eating. And I've developed a lot of compassion for myself over the years of recognizing that if I could have done better, I would have, but I was struggling with an eating disorder. And then when I got into recovery and I lost all the weight, I found myself getting so angry because I was walking around the world and I found myself that I was having a completely different experience. And this new experience that I was having was not just because I was in a new body within my own self. It was because externally I was seeing how I was being treated differently. I obviously could go to stores now and buy clothes. I felt comfortable sitting in an airplane seat. I also found that people were more respectful of me. And it confused the hell out of me because I really thought that somehow it meant that I just wasn't worthy as much when I was heavy. People would listen to me more and honor and respect what I had to say. I would get compliments about my looks. And I also found that people would listen to me more when I would share my experience around something. And for the longest time, I was so resentful about it. And what I've come to realize is it's privilege. It's pretty privilege. I just understood that there was a privilege that came with being at a certain body weight that the world said was right. And even with being morbidly obese, I still was able to have male privilege and white privilege. But what this experience did was it opened my eyes to the fact that everybody is having their own experience and that we can't claim to know what their experience is unless we've lived through it. I do not expect anyone to know what it's like to be morbidly obese unless they have lived through that experience. And I will say the one thing that I'm grateful for is that my experience, having been on both sides of the equation, is that I have an understanding of what privilege looks like for people. And when you're on the other end of it and you're not receiving that privilege, how obvious it is to you, and that other people may choose to ignore it or choose not to have enough humility to admit that it even exists. And I think about a lot of the things that are going on in our world today, and it pains me so much, specifically when I hear us talk about white privilege. And there's a lot of people that don't want to acknowledge that it exists. And people try to refute the experience of a person of color by saying that they don't believe that white privilege exists. And I think because of that experience I've had with my weight, it's just made me more sensitive to the experience of others. And I learned how to trust and listen to what people are saying. But what I just want to share is that experience is a very personal thing. And it's not our place to negate the experience of someone else simply because we have not had that experience. You will not know what it's like to be morbidly obese in this world until you've been morbidly obese. And you may not understand the privilege you have until you've been on the flip side of that same privilege. And as a white person, we will never have the experience of not being white. We will never have the experience of being a person of color in the world we live in today. I will never have the experience of being a woman in today's world. I have male privilege. My job is to listen to what women are telling me. There's so many different types of privilege that we walk around with in our world. But the only way we feel seen and heard is when we listen to the experience of others and we acknowledge it and we respect it. I have a lot of other videos I want to do where I talk about my weight loss and the fears I had about weight loss and what I learned from it. But given everything going on in the world today, I just wanted to give a little bit of my experience around privilege and how we live in a world that still really struggles to hear what's being told to us. So thank you for watching my video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not and like the video. In the comments below, let me know, what is your experience around privilege? When have you felt that you've been on the receiving end of that privilege, and when have you not been? Please take care of yourselves this week, and that's it.